what I got from the preface was that wholeness is a state of being complete, to be unbroken, having no cracks or missing parts. Wholeness is the highest and healthiest version of any person. A version of you so awesome that if you die before experiencing it, then it's life's greatest tragedy. Until we are made whole on every level, we're left leaking. If brokenness never gets resolved over our lifetime, it will cost us significantly. So what are some ways you guys think it'll cost us if we don't get made whole? What are some things in life that it'll cost us if we aren't made whole?
I think that when you react, when somebody, doesn't, I don't know, might offend you in some way, and you react like you have the choice to react positive or negative, and if you're, whole, I think that you sort of, forgive, and you just, take it in a good way.
Right.
Just let it go. Like, it doesn't bother you anymore. Just let it go.
Yeah, definitely. Any other? Oh, go ahead.
Well, it'll cost you. It costs a lot because if you were saying like all of these things were a part of being whole, like being honest, setting boundaries, if you're avoiding conflict and things like that, then that costs you relationships, that costs you friendships. It's a lot if you don't become whole. And it's just, it seems like it takes time to become whole and to really focus on it. So it will cost you a lot. Like, in breaking generational curses, that's like a huge thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So you don't want to keep repeating
your
the same
your children's children.
negative lifestyle, right? So you want to be the first one out of your family to do something different, or something like that.
First one out of your family that wasn't alcoholic, or first one out of your family that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you're debt free.
You went to college.
The addictions and things like that. So going to college. I don't know. It will cost you a lot.
Yeah. It can cost you, like you mentioned, it can cost your children, your children's children. It can impact generations if you don't become
generation. Whole. It can affect a whole generation. If you don't get right with someone, if you don't forgive someone, if you don't, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so we all have issues that need work. And so with the wholeness, it's not even just sin that we're addressing. It's sin, but it's also just behaviors that are detrimental to living a healthy life, detrimental to your future progress. So the brokenness, we're not just addressing. So we're addressing sin, but we're not just addressing sin. We're addressing just habits and behaviors and thoughts that are and patterns that are detrimental to your life in general. And a lot of people will say, well, that's just how I am. That's just how I am. And I just need to find somebody to accept me as I am, or that's but it's not just who you are, because the brokenness is a fruit. The brokenness there's a root, and then a lot of the traits of brokenness are fruit of that root. There's a root, an issue, and then these other symptoms are fruits of that issue. They're fruits from the tree of your brokenness, of the tree from your issues, and the symptoms that we're going to be talking about are symptoms of brokenness. And like we mentioned, it could be from something that happened last week. It could be from something, at childhood, so everyone could be broken. It could be, you got left in the crib too long, so you felt abandoned. You came, you're 1 year old and you already feel abandoned. Or you were the product of an unwanted pregnancy. You know, psychologists say that you can feel rejection in the womb. So you came out feeling rejected. You know, you have rejection issues now when someone doesn't, you know, respond to you, or someone doesn't return your text, or someone, you know, when someone says something, you come to a conclusion that, oh, they didn't say hi to me because this and this and this. You know, it's because you have rejection issues from back before you were born. You know, or maybe, you know, your parents, they were really busy. They were successful and busy, and you couldn't get their attention unless you were bad. So now you're dramatic all the time, and you gotta act out because that's how you learn to get attention. That's how you got love. And so it could be brokenness from a lot of different areas, a lot of different ways, and there's brokenness in all of us. And brokenness will impact your Christianity. It can impact your Christianity. It says, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ." So he's saying that if he was still trying to please man, he wouldn't be a servant of Christ. So the first symptom we're looking at is being overly concerned with the opinions of others. Overly concerned with the opinions of others. And so that's a big symptom, and it's a broad symptom that affects a lot of people. Definitely affects me. One of the things I realize, and you know, a lot of times we're thinking, you know, people may have been thinking before the call, you know, well, what are they going to think about me? You know, or you before you go somewhere, it's like, oh, or I bet they think this, or why did I say that? Why did I say that? And you're just constantly worried about what other people think about you. I know when I first started going to the Bible study at ALCF, I had just finished a period of 7 years. I was like really doing a heavy Bible study on my own, and you know, and I came there and I was, you know, contributing, and I was making sure that when I answered the questions that they knew, you know, that I knew the Bible. It's like, oh well, you know, that's the Logos and da da da. It's like I was, you know, wanting to impress people, or you go somewhere and you don't want people to think badly about you, or you say something churchy answer instead of what you do in your own life, you know, because we're worried about what other people think. We're worried about what other people might think about us a lot of places we go. And all right, so let's see. The next one is we kind of touched on it. So the fact that you're worried about other people's opinion mean that you don't live by principles and morals. So you don't live by principles and morals. You're a chameleon. You're living your life based on other people's response. So when I'm with this group, I say these things because these people agree with this. When I'm with this group, I may say this other thing. You know, I don't have principles and morals. So that's kind of what we're talking about. You know, then not basing it on the other people's response. It's like, I'm going to say this because I think that's what they want to hear, or I think I'm going to get the response I want from them if I say this, or I'm going to be accepted in the group if I say this. But if I'm over in this other group, I'll say this other thing, or I just won't mention. You know, somebody said this thing that was, you know, racist or anti this or anti that, and it's like I just won't say anything about it. It's like I'm going to sit there as if I agree. You know, I didn't agree, I didn't say anything, but when I'm with this group, I'm speaking out against it. So it's like you're a chameleon depending on which group you're in. You know, so it's you're not living by principles and morals. You're worried about other people's opinion. So that's another effect of worried about other people's opinion. Letting other people determine whether you're right or wrong. And so, you know, so I'm posting what I post on Facebook depending on how many people like it. You know, that's how people end up with, you know, naked pictures on Facebook. They got 7,000 likes when they posted that. When they put up a picture of Jesus, they only got 3. So, so the bikini pig wins. That's the first set of fruits of brokenness. So we're actually going to pick up with more next week. Some are related to relationships and others. But yeah, that's the first set of fruits of brokenness. Any thoughts?
I thought I was whole.